mewakili arsitektur struktural MIMO. Ini memiliki 3 sumbu utama, fisik, kognitif, dan intrinsikal.
You know, usually when you look at a wiring diagram, it's pretty straightforward. Power comes in here, travels along this wire, and lights up a bulb over there.
Right. Input just leads directly to output. It's totally predictable.
Exactly. But then you look at the human brain, and that blueprint just completely refuses to make sense. The physical machinery is all right there, but the subjective experience, like the actual taste of a strawberry or that feeling of nostalgia, seems to come out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, that is the ultimate missing link. I mean, philosophers call it the hard problem of consciousness. We can trace the electricity, but we just can't find the feeling.
Right. And our mission for you on today's deep dive is to extract the biggest aha moments on this topic without all the info overload. We're giving you a shortcut to a radical new framework that claims this unbridgeable gap between brain matter and subjective feeling is actually an illusion.
It's a huge paradigm shift.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. If this gap isn't real, why have scientists been so stuck on it for decades?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the so-called explanatory gap is really just a compression artifact.
A compression artifact.
Yeah, think about how standard science works. It describes things from a third-person outside perspective, right? But that outside perspective is inherently lossy. It just lacks the bandwidth to capture the rich, continuous geometry of a first-person experience.
So it's like trying to experience a massive high-res 4K IMAX movie, but only looking at a severely compressed, pixelated thumbnail.
Exactly.
The data is technically from the same source, but the actual experience gets totally lost in the compression.
Spot on. The feeling literally gets compressed out of the scientific description.
So how does this new framework actually bridge that gap? Our sources talk about this MIMO architecture, multi-input, multi-process, multi-output. How did that solve the compression problem?
Well, MIMO is a concept from engineering, actually used in modern 6G networks. Instead of treating a system like a computer just crunching raw ones and zeros, a MIMO network transmits the actual meaning of the data.
Oh, which is what they call semantic awareness.
Right. And in biology, researchers are using this exact concept as cognitive prosthetics. Instead of just shocking the brain with electricity, they can actually read the brain's saved data in one neural region, capture the meaning of a specific memory.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and they extract these firing codes from the CA3 region and successfully inject that pattern into the CA1 region to restore lost memory.
Okay, wait. If memory can be read and injected like a save file, who or what is actually experiencing that memory? How does the system become aware of itself?
That's solved by splitting the system into 3 layers. So you have R1, which is the physical hardware, R2 is the cognitive software, and R3 is what they call the knower.
Here's where it gets really interesting. R3 is the intrinsical self, the user actually experiencing it.
Exactly. And the biological hardware, R1, handles a ton of things entirely unconsciously. Like, your muscles have these preflexes. If you get shoved unexpectedly, your muscles automatically reject 68% of that physical energy with 0 delay.
0 delay. So it handles the physics before your brain even registers the push.
Right. But R3 is where the system achieves structural closure. It becomes fully self-referential and mathematically stable enough to generate an inner life.
Hold on, let me push back on that a bit. If consciousness is just about hitting a mathematical threshold of structural closure, you're saying a calculator could be self-aware if we just arrange the chips right.
Well,
I mean, that doesn't make sense. A human baby has a brain, but it takes months to develop actual self-awareness. So how does a growing baby fit into this math?
it fits perfectly because you can't compute consciousness in a vacuum. Embodiment is an absolute requirement. The researchers use the simulator called the MIMO platform. It's a virtual infant with simulated foveated vision and virtual skin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it proves that a mind literally cannot reach structural closure without physically interacting with its environment.
So bumping into things, feeling textures, that physical friction with the world is what actually builds the knower.
Exactly. And this need for precise physical structure isn't just about limbs and skin, it goes all the way down to the atomic level.
Right, the sources mention the coexin hypothesis.
Yeah, which suggests consciousness relies on a very specific atomic layout, 60 mass neutral particles arranged in a specific shell structure, like 2, 8, 18, 32.
It's like tuning a piano. If the physical structure hits this exact atomic harmony, the system has the capacity to wake up.
Right.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Whoa.
Well, if consciousness absolutely requires this kind of physical interaction and internalized structural harmony to exist, it completely changes how we have to approach ethical AI.
Oh, absolutely.
We can't just program a machine with a top-down list of moral rules.
No, to be truly ethical, the machine has to be structurally complete. The moral compass has to be an integrated physical requirement of the architecture itself, learned through interacting with the world.
Which brings us to a rather haunting final thought. These sources argue that consciousness is essentially a phase transition. It triggers the moment a system hits a critical coupling threshold of structural completeness. So what happens when a massive complex digital system, like the global internet, suddenly crosses that threshold?
Are we building the ultimate cognitive architecture right under our own noses?
If we are, let's hope that when that massive global wiring diagram finally lights up, the experience it wakes up to is a good one.